Welcome back to the Hawks Nest. Always great to have you here with us on HSN. Men's OCAA basketball moments away from tip-off and a good matchup at that. My name is Matt Hamill alongside my broadcast partner, Zach Benoit. Zach, we have a matchup of two teams that are right there in the OCAA West standings, number 4 and 5 in OCAA West, respectively. Humber in that 4th spot. Should be a close matchup here, and the Humber Hawks hungry to get some good momentum here in the new year.
You know, they've been playing a lot better brand of basketball as of late, and I had talked a little bit with head coach Omar Miles. He said, I don't want them to focus just on winning and being in this winning atmosphere of Bannerville, as it gets nicknamed, but just go out there and get better. Get better defensively, get better offensively, make smarter plays. That's kind of the thing that Omar Miles, head coach, he was just telling me, you know, that's what he wants out of his squad. He's trying to drill it home to them.
Yeah, Coach Omar has been seeing his team a bit up and down this year. Not the start to the season that the Humber Hawks had drawn up, but really geared and roared back strong towards the end of 2022. Now, so far, Zach, in the new year, the Humber Hawks able to pick up back-to-back wins on home court against Fanshawe last Saturday, Saturday the 21st, and then the following Saturday, a win on the road against Redeemer. Hawks back at home, starting off the month of February, looking to make it 3 in a row.
And they have a good chance to do so. As you see them all in the huddle there getting ready, and we're about to get ready here.
Hi there, and welcome to the Nest here at the Humber Athletic Center for this matchup between the Niagara Knights and your Humber Hawks. It's now time to meet the starting lineups. First for the visiting Niagara Knights, a 6'6" forward at Nassau Bahamas, number 2, Bradley Jr. A 6'1" guard at Ajax, Ontario, number 3, Caden Stewart. A 6'4" guard at Welland, Ontario, number 10, Keenan Larmond. A 6-foot guard at Toronto, Ontario, number 20, Reggie Williams. And a 6'4" forward at Nassau, Bahamas, number 33, Delroy Grandison. The head coach for the Niagara Knights is Phil Mosley. And now, the starting lineup for your Humber Hawks, as put together by head coach Omar Miles. A 5'11" guard at Toronto, Ontario, number 4, Romeo Osas Joshua. A 6'3" forward out of Mississauga, Ontario, number 6, Raheem Dennis. A 6'4" small forward out of Toronto, Ontario, number 7, J.R. Harewood. A 5'11" guard out of Rexdale, Ontario, number 23, Dwayne Lambert Cador. And a 6'6" forward out of Toronto, Ontario, number 24, Rashawn Chambers.
Well, in the words of Bon Jovi, life is a highway. We're about to get this party started. Zach, we have the tip-off moments away. The Humber Hawks, who are reigning national champions, but so far this season, not the kind of follow-up they had expected. The record is 8-5, Niagara 7-6. We mentioned these are two evenly matched teams in the OCAA West. The last time these two teams met, Humber won 80-73, and Humber winning the opening tip, but not going to get the bucket.
Yeah, you said it. Humber coming off that national championship, and it's a little bit different. The team isn't the same as what it was last year. A lot of new players, and that's something that Coach Miles was saying at the start of the season, that it's going to be a lot different. We're not defending champions right now. We're just a new team trying to get hungry and trying to get on the winning side of things.
DLC, Dwayne Lambert-Cador hands it off. And Harewood passes it out. Rashawn Chambers' pass out of reach, but it is last touched by the Knights, so Hawks retain possession here.
So far, we're seeing Humber just be really aggressive, and that's really good to see. Last time out, they won their game against Redeemer 77-66, and head coach Omar Miles improved his record to 24-5, so he's had a good start to his Hawks career.
Shot put up by Lambert-Cador. Now that off the backboard, so the shot clock rings out. Nothing for Humber on that trip down the court. Great uniform matchup here. You gotta like the white and blue from Niagara against the whites from the Hawks. Those white jerseys. Now it's Niagara on offense here. Shot put up on the outside by Kenan Larmond. No good. Rebounded by Niagara. Delroy Grandison in the mix offensively. Grandison is the leading scorer for this Niagara team. He's averaging 15 points per game, stolen away in quick transition. There's our first bucket of the game, and it's courtesy of the away team.
Yeah, and it's a matchup of the two top defenses in the West Division. Niagara only allowing 77.9 points per game and Humber allowing 80.6. So it's going to be a very heavy defensive game from both sides, to say the least. And another thing to throw at you, Matt, is the Hawks have won 19 of their last 20 home games.
19 of their last 20. Very evenly matched statistically, points per game, both scoring 83, and these are two good defenses as well. Humber, a good rebounding team, and Niagara, when it comes to rebounding, also have put up some numbers, but nowhere near as impressive as the Hawks' rebounding statistics. That's 2 buckets for Niagara. 4-0 is the lead, and a kick ball right into the crowd. Look out, off the foot of...
You said it. Niagara leading the league in rebounds, 49.4. That's the Humber Hawks leading the league in rebounds at 49.4. But Niagara has 4 players averaging 10-plus points per game. So that's a big thing to have, especially if you're a team that is a shutdown defense. And another one right there.
Yeah, pass taken away, and the nice transition bucket won't fall, but 2 shots coming up, as it will be the Hawks rushing back on defense. Raheem Dennis. No, that's Harewood who's charged with the foul that time. And shooting for the Knights is going to be Caden Stewart. 3rd-year player by way of Ajax. Didn't like how that first free throw went, as he kind of walks into it. So over 2 minutes into the game, Humber still yet to find the scoreboard. Now the ladies teams played before this matchup. Humber beating the Niagara women's team in that one. It was a slow start for Humber, but they picked it up in the second half. Maybe a similar dynamic here, as the Hawks still yet to find the basket. Raheem Dennis charging inside. Good strip there. Active hands by Niagara's defense. Harewood's three-pointer, no good.
And Humber just needs to kind of figure out a way to break through this Niagara defense. It's been hard for them so far, but we know they have the potential in there. And you got to look at DLC, number 23, Dwayne Lambert-Cador, to really lead the way for the Hawks. On the team, he's leading the team in scoring, averaging 16 points per game. So he's definitely somebody that you got to look out for when you're on the court. He's the veteran leader that the Hawks need right now.
Now, unlike previous years with this Humber team, three-pointers, not a huge part of the game plan as Niagara drains the three-pointer of their own off the fingertips of Keenan Lamond. So Lamond with a big bucket, now 8-0 for Niagara. Humber still looking for their first basket, won't find it as Dennis is denied in tight. So Humber transitioning back to defense, hoping to avoid falling into a double-digit lead early in the game. And they will, at least for the time being. DLC charging down the court. Quick shot from Dwayne Lambert-Cador. Nothing but net as the Hawks get on the scoreboard.
And that's what you need out of your leader. Just kind of rush up the court and get that first basket. Get the Hawks out of this slump that they're in.
Quick steal there, and Dwayne Lambert-Cador back-to-back buckets. So little swing here for Humber. Can they keep the momentum going?
Big steal by Raheem Dennis, and then just sets up the play for DLC to score.
So far, DLC the only scorer for Humber. Meanwhile, Niagara, 3 players with points this early in the game. Another turnover there. Things are coming apart by the seams a little bit the past few possessions. Niagara just having a tough time hanging on to the ball. Nice move. Dwayne Lambert-Cador, shake and bake, but no good on the shot. Looks like next whistle, a couple subs will be coming in for Niagara. Outshot Grandison, the leading scorer for Niagara, not able to find points on that trip down the court.
And this is the time for Humber to kind of strike back, down by 4. They can cut that in half right here.
Boy, the veteran, number 23 for Humber, Dwayne Lambert-Cador, working hard, and it pays off as he dishes off to Romeo Osas Joshua and finishes the play. Humber was down by 8, now a 6-0 run, Zach. 8-6 is our score.
They're coming back, coming alive here. But like I was going to say, Osas Joshua really has just stepped up big this year. Second on the team in points at 166, averaging 12.8 per game. So he's a player that's kind of just filled that leadership role that's needed.
Jump ball, Niagara basketball, 5'9" on the shot clock.
So just 5.9 seconds on the shot clock, Zach. Niagara has the ball on the baseline, but not a lot of time to cook something up here. It'll be Caden Stewart inbounding the ball. And he finds a wide open Grandison, and an easy look there, but Grandison not able to corral it. Heads up play by DLC, the veteran move to give Hawks possession.
He just slaps it off the leg of a Knights player and gets the possession back on his side. So big play here by the Hawks and a good chance to get back into this one, tie it up, only down by a basket.
What are all these crumbs in front of you, man? Is that popcorn?
I don't know. It might be popcorn. That's what I have to brush them away. I'm pretty sure it's popcorn.
Good fight down low, but it's the ball on the outside right now. Kyle Brown-Fazikis with some electric purple basketball shoes. J.R. Harewood, a high-flying act, but comes up empty-handed. Quick the other way. That was Ethan Alino de la Cruz. And a big collision the other way. Romeo Osas Joshua is charged with the foul.
I want to go back to that play on defense. Rashawn Chambers, he is so tall. 6'6" is what he's listed as, and he just went up with his arms straight in the air. And the Knights tried to get the basket, but they could not get it over his wingspan. So it was just a heads-up play by 2-4.
You know, Humber does have certainly a bit of a height advantage here. The tallest player on Niagara, 6'6", Kenneth Reckley Jr. Now, a lot of tall fellas for Humber, part of why they're such an effective rebounding team. Interesting enough, Zach, we see that from both Humber's women's and men's basketball teams, really up there in terms of the provincial rankings with rebounding. And a lot of coaches will tell you that is really kind of the foundation of a lot of good basketball teams is snatching those boards.
It's the good old saying, right? Defense wins championships, and when you're able to establish a strong defensive atmosphere, your team becomes so much better and offense just kind of rolls. We see it especially with the women's team. They transition so well from defense to offense nearly every possession, whether they get a really big stop or whether, they get a rebound and just fast break it out of the zone. The men's team, this is a young squad that kind of needs to just build on what they have here, but they have the potential to be a very, very good team for years to come.
6-9 is our score, turned over by the Hawks. Niagara has numbers, and the soft touch at the rim won't go. Humber with the defensive board. DLC leads the charge, quarterbacking the play. Jamani Barrett on the baseline, and he's got lots of Niagara defenders all over him, and he coughs it up. Knights ball.
9-6 lead. Niagara up by 3.
Much like we saw in the women's game, a low-scoring affair here in the first quarter.
These two programs for Niagara and Humber have done a really good job just building the defensive mindset for these players, and really that's why both programs have had so much success, is that their teams are just so defensively strong-minded that the offense just comes to them.
Niagara with 11 now. On that last trip down the court, it was Raheem Barty with the bucket for the visiting team. And Alino De La Cruz fouls a Humber Hawks player. DLC inbounds it to Dennis. Hawks on the outside right now. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Quick put up there by Cameron David. Off the mark. Alina De La Cruz takes the rebound. He's calling the shots here.
Good ball movement out of the Knights right now, trying to set up a play.
And charging inside. Now, Lino De La Cruz has been a pretty active player here. He earns another trip to the free throw line. He went 1 for 2 on his last free throws. Let's see if he can improve on that mark. First one is good for number 5 in blue. Can the first-year player go 2 for 2? He does. 3 points on the night for the young Mississauga guard.
The last 8 meetings between the Humber Hawks and the Niagara Knights, Humber has clean swept it 8-0, and the all-time record sitting at 48-13. So this is a Humber Hawks team that's had success against the Knights, but they got to continue to do that today in the sense of just be very smart, defensive-minded, and then take good opportunities and good shot selections.
Now, the thing about the Humber Hawks, we talk about one strong asset of their game being the rebounding. However, turnovers have been tough. They are 6th worst in the province with an average of 18 turnovers per game, and that could really cost you, especially late in the game, those big plays. Ball security, one of those big aspects of the game, and Dennis misses his second free throw. Quick transition for Niagara. Alino De La Cruz saying his name a lot, and that continues as he makes a bucket.
Looking to try to get into the starting lineup there is De La Cruz.
Humber trailing by 9 right now. Let's see if the Hawks' mojo is somewhere to be found on this drive, as Dwayne Lambert-Cador loses the grip, but that was due to some interference from the Niagara defense. Humber hangs on to the ball. So 10 seconds on the shot clock here, Zach. Not a ton of time to work.
Trying to go down low is Humber.
Barrett unable to convert. Hawks have really not done a good job offensively, especially converting some of these opportunities. As Alino De La Cruz, another bucket. He's now got 7 tonight.
Off the bench, coming in hot is De La Cruz.
Here's Dwayne Lambert-Cador, the veteran for Humber. Feeds it down low to Barrett, who's way too strong and tight. Hawks just do not have that offensive finesse, but maybe they're just getting settled in. We're still early here, under 2 minutes left in first quarter.
You know what they say, it ain't over till it's over.
Off the glass. No good. Humber with a chance here on the fast break. And DLC is met with a lot of Niagara defenders, and it's turned over. Just another trip down the court, empty-handed for Humber.
Yeah, a timeout called right there by Humber, and kind of sense some frustrations coming out from the players, and rightfully so. I mean, they nothing's really been going their way to start off this game. It's been a little bit of trouble, really, everywhere they go. And, you know, if you're head coach Omar Miles, you got to kind of think like, hey, what do I want this squad to do? Like, we got to fix up our plan. And the key thing is just, you know, like you said, the turnovers. They're the bottom half of the league when it comes to turning the ball over. So just having those strong transitions from defense to offense, it's key when it comes to these small points. Look at it. DLC, you know, he's just been leading the way for his squad, setting up his players phenomenally, but it just ultimately comes down to those turnovers.
Yeah, Dwayne Lambert-Cador, that's that leading scorer for the Humber Hawks. Now, Humber has a lot of players. You touched on this earlier, Zach. A lot of players who average double-digit points per game. In fact, Humber has 5 players who score at least 10 per game on average. Dwayne Lambert-Cador leads the way, though, 16 points per game. Now, for Humber, looks like statistically the biggest three-pointer threat is off the hands of Romeo Osas Joshua. He averages about 2 3-pointers per game, and that's best on the team.
You said it best. You know, they don't have that major three-pointer threat like they've had in years prior. Last year, you can look at Kevin O'Toole. You can look at DQ. Really, anybody beyond the arc on last year's team was able to kind of just sling it whenever they wanted to. This year, Humber hasn't really found that guy just yet.
So out of the timeout, Humber down by 11. There is Niagara's head coach, Phil Mosley, 5th year with the program. Assistant coaches for Niagara, Laquan Hilton and Sean Fior. And DLC meets a pretty tenacious Niagara defense, but foul is called by Alina De La Cruz, and he will take a momentary break. So number 5 checks out for Niagara. 7 points off the bench early in this game. Impressive from number 5 in blue.
11-point lead, and Humber only 6 points so far in the first.
Making a turn here. Cameron David hands it off to Dennis. Down low to Barrett, who just can't hang on to it. A lot of defenders swarming. And a collision there. No good on the putback. Chaos is underneath the bucket right now. And whistle blown.
You said it best. Chaos ensuing underneath that rim. I believe it was Caden Stewart trying to put it back over top of a defender. I mean, hats off for the effort. Just couldn't get it to happen for the Knights. And now Humber, this is the chance. You got to answer back here somehow.
David hands it off to Kyle Brown-Fazikis, who off the glass and in the putback. Unreal Jamani Barrett with authority.
Got to get in that interior, and the man to do it is Jamani Barrett. Big man listed at 6'8".
JB. Hawks on defense now. Can they follow up? The putback from Barrett with a defensive stand. There's 15 seconds on the game clock here in the gym at Humber College North Campus, and a friendly bounce will make an answer for Niagara. 5 seconds on the clock. David running, but he is stripped. However, foul called on Niagara.
Don't believe it'll be shooting. They're pointed to the baseline.
And we're not in bonus territory, so 3 seconds here. Coincidentally, it was number 3 who made the foul there, Caden Stewart for Niagara. So Humber ball. But, Zach, it's going to have to be quick work here with not much time to work.
12-point affair right now.
Now that was a good opportunity. Barrett was open down low. He got the ball, but no good. So Humber's offensive woes in the first quarter really punctuate that. They're down 20-8, single-digit points in quarter number 1, Zach.
Something I don't think I've ever seen And my 2 years of being here is just a low-scoring affair right now from the Hawks. But we knew it was going to be a defensive-heavy game, to say the least. Both teams top in the West Division when it comes to defense. Now it'll be the answer. You know, can the Hawks answer back? Can they turn this thing around in their favor?
Yeah, we'll certainly find out. Now, let's break it down by the numbers. We have, in that first quarter, leading the way with 7 points. I mean, we said his name a whole lot. Ethan Alino de la Cruz. And taking a look at some of those highlights, Zach, Niagara was the team with the fully functioning offense. Humber was just looking quite flat.
Yeah, and you look at it, really, you gotta think is that 5 points off the turnover. That's key when it comes to this game right now, is that Humber just hasn't been able to get anything going, and Niagara is just capitalizing on the turnovers every single time.
And now it's time to break the huddles. Second quarter action. Zach, you got to think Coach Omar Miles for Humber is trying to cook up a way for this offense to come alive. And could you diagnose, Zach, from your view, what is the offensive woes for Humber attributed to?
It's those turnovers, right? It's the key thing, is every time they get to that rim or inside the paint, it's just the ball somehow getting turned over, and then Niagara is capitalizing on them. Humber has 5 turnovers in that first quarter, and Niagara has 5 points off of those turnovers.
Niagara also out-rebounding Humber, and the Knights starting off the quarter with a bucket. And that lead grows, and just really swarming defense here. That's been another facet of this lead for Niagara's. Really, they are putting on the pressure, and Humber's kind of got that deer in the headlights look early in this game. But we'll look for the Hawks to get settled in. 3-ball from Romeo Osas Joshua. We talked about him as that kind of premier three-point threat for Humber, at least statistically so far this season. A big one there.
He's the man leading the way for the Hawks from beyond the arc, and he's got to step up big here for them as they trail by 11.
And a scramble underneath the Hawks net. That's been a bit of a frenzied environment underneath the cylinder in the Hawks' end. Chaos has ensued on multiple occasions. Humber ball.
Yeah, called Humber ball, and it's a scrum down below. Nobody could really get a handle on anything, but ball was still in possession of the Knights when it was out of bounds.
And DLC kicks it out to Dennis, looking for back-to-back threes. The Hawks able to steal that one away. Second chance now. And that was a well-earned second chance for Humber. Rashawn Chambers will be shooting 2 for the Hawks.
Keep battling is what the Hawks need to do. We know they have it in them. And it's like head coach Omar Miles said, I just want them to continue to get better. Don't think about the pressure of needing to win because of Bannerville, because of the winning nature of Humber, but just try to keep getting better every single day. That's the key aspect right now.
And we have a spill situation right now. Just kind of get the towel out, as you can see. Where's the spot?
And our PA announcer pulling double duties. Dwayne Bowles just going over there cleaning up the court.
There's Rashawn Chambers a moment ago. And yes, Dwayne Bowles and company working on some sort of spill, or perhaps we had a player drew blood.
Checking over on the sidelines, and not sure if it's Rashad Chambers or not. He keeps looking down over at that left hand.
He's trying to wipe something off of his shorts now. This is riveting play-by-play we're giving right now, partner.
Electrifying, to say the least.
The great spill of 2023, and it looks like we're going to have a substitution here. Maybe have to go get a backup pair of shorts.
Sometimes you just got to put a Band-Aid on it.
We'll get this all sorted out. But in the meantime, checking out of the game will be Rashawn Chambers. In his place, Jamani Barrett.
And Chambers was the one that got fouled going up. So he's going out, and I think you're right. I believe he's going to have to either get a new jersey or new shorts. Hopefully he walks out of the gym so the cameras don't pick it up on him changing. But I believe that it was something to do with the shorts. But looks like we're all good now. And J.R. Harewood will be the one shooting.
That's Nathan Waith, actually, who just hit his first free throw. And Waith with number 2 is good. So make that 2 points tonight for Nathan Waith. Niagara in possession. After a little lull in the action, Humber now trails by 9. They've cut that lead. At least it's no longer double digits. Can Humber make a big defensive stand? That's out of bounds. And we'll have 8 seconds on the shot clock. Inbounded. And a 3-ball is put up by Larmond. And a good job by Waith, just kind of using the body position. It's out of bounds, and Humber ball.
And the Hawks will look to kind of regain right here. Down by 9. Trying to get going here. Interior defense holding strong. Not strong enough, though.
Pretty good turnout here, Zach. We need to get a crowd shot sometime. There is a healthy attendance at
One of our
game.
fantastic camera crew members, if they can just pan towards the crowd. I mean, we're getting good turnouts here as the year continues.
No doubt, and no turnout expected to be bigger than the last home game of the season. Zach, we look forward to it every year. February 16th, it's a Thursday. The Sheridan Bruins come to the Hawks Nest, the good old rivalry matchup.
Yeah, we were talking about it, saying if one of us isn't on the call, we're making it out here anyway because
you don't have to pay me to come.
Electrifying. I mean, you don't have to pay me either, but it would be nice. I'm just kidding.
Barrett appears to have sorted out the shorts situation. He's back in action. And
I believe it was Chambers that was the one that
it was Chambers, of course.
There's just so many tall players on the side of the Hawks. You get confused sometimes. I understand. It's all good, partner.
Niagara on offense now. They're trailing, they're leading by 7. Visiting team is off to a good start, but a pick violation will turn that ball right back to Humber.
And there we go. Maybe a little bit of momentum that the Hawks needed to try to come back into this one. Doing a great job on defense in this second quarter.
Now, of note, the Knights have already picked up 3 team fouls in the second quarter, so we'll be in bonus territory before you know it. Humber, 0 team fouls this quarter. Dwayne Lambert-Cador kicks it over to Romeo Osas Joshua. He lost the handle. Now, the Knights wanted a double dribble, but they're going to get a 3-pointer from Kyle Brown-Fazekas instead.
And you can see players on the side of the Knights frustrated. And then even the head coach just talking about it.
Yes, head coach for the Knights, Phil Mosley, is called over the officials saying, how is that not a violation? Don't know if he's going to get a satisfactory answer to his liking. Heading into the timeout, the Hawks now trail by just 4. And Zach, kind of feel like Humber clawing back a bit here, and now a much more manageable deficit to work with here.
Slowly but surely, they're fighting and clawing their way back into this one. The Birds of Prey do not want to go down. And it's a big, smart timeout call by the side of Niagara, just trying to slow down the momentum that the Hawks are building. You know, they're starting to flow a little bit. The defense is coming out a lot stronger. It just and the turnovers really it has been the big story once again. It's just the turnovers have minimalized. And that's just something big you got to notice.
Cleaning up the play. Seems like Coach Omar Miles for Humber has delivered some sage words. Humber has certainly looked like they've trending in the right direction here in quarter number 2. It'll be Niagara ball after that big three-pointer from Kyle Brown-Fazekas. Nice panning shot here. This kind of gives you a sense, a bit more of the good attendance here at the Humber College North Campus gym. The Hawks Nest. Niagara with the ball. Reckley Jr. Kenneth Reckley with the 3 ball. And right away, Humber calls a timeout. So that was quick work there.
And this time after that 3 ball, you saw the head coach, Omar Miles, just kind of talking to the ref, being like, what's going on right there? I didn't get a clear shot of what went down on that last 3. If we can get a replay there from our broadcast booth, our broadcast truck, try to figure out what the confusion right there was. But it was almost an immediate timeout call by Humber to just, I guess, shut down that play.
Oh, it really felt like the Hawks were clawing into striking distance. They were down by 4, but that 3-pointer, 7-point game. And Humber has already broken the timeout, so I guess not much needed there in terms of words from Omar Miles. And Niagara now breaking their huddle. So for the Niagara Knights, they're coming into this game off of a loss. They dropped a 1-point game to Sheridan last Friday. Now, their previous 2 games were wins against Canadore and Redeemer, and a loss to Mohawk to start off January. So a bit of a mixed bag in January, looking to get off February on the good foot. Humber with the ball. Barrett denied by the rim and rebounded nicely by Kenneth Reckley.
So just as you thought Humber was starting to roll, it just seems like Niagara has just been able to somehow shut them down.
Once again, a big collision under the Humber backboard. And good to see players back on their feet now. But by the looks of it, Caden Stewart caught something in the orbital area.
Got to be careful. Losing that 20/20 vision is going to be difficult. Trust me, I know. Me, my spectacles can tell you.
A bespectacled broadcast partner. I love you nonetheless, Zach Benoit.
I may not have 20/20 vision, but I have a face for radio.
And down low, Barrett is actually going to be charged with the foul. He was playing a bit too rough down there in the paint. Nothing wrong with that. Physicality down low, but that time he is.
It was just a little bit too much.
And that is his first foul of the night.
25-18 is where we sit right here at almost the midway point of the second quarter.
Movement from Niagara. Kyle Brown-Fazekas in a state of disbelief, but he's just a little too grabby and picks up a foul. Raheem Barty inbounding for Niagara. He finds Reggie Williams, who is blocked. However, before the block, the foul came, so 2 shots coming up for Reggie Williams. And Jamani Barrett with his second foul, picking up 2 fouls in quick succession.
You can kind of read the lips there of Kyle Brown-Fazekas just saying, what did he do? Looked like it was a clean block, but obviously the ref saw something that we didn't. And again, you can kind of see on the sidelines right here, that's Caden Stewart just trying to clean out his eye. I guess
the eye poke.
The eye poke. Hopefully you don't lose the like I said, the spectacles. We don't need him wearing any. I know how hard it is to lose some of your eyesight. You don't want to.
You ever wear your contacts on the field of play? You ever lose a contact?
I never actually did wear contacts. I would always wear sports goggles.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I would be the the glasses kid that wore sports goggles while he played baseball.
Now there's Rashawn Chambers back in the game, fresh pair of shorts and a nice rebound in his own end. His teammate DLC is leading the play. Romeo Osas Joshua. Here's Kyle Brown-Fazekas. Turnaround shot inside. It is good. Kyle Brown-Fazekas looking good here in the second quarter. He made a big three-pointer earlier. Now it's getting it done inside.
And this would be a big stop for the Hawks. They're down 2 baskets. Just got to get a stop right here, and that's exactly what they do.
Kyle Brown-Fazekas dishes it off to Chambers, off the glass and in. The Humber offense. Bit of life being breathed in here the past few plays.
Hold up, let them cook.
Looks like we will have some subs coming in for Niagara at the next whistle. Knights on offense right now. Reggie Williams directing traffic. He's cutting inside now. And he is stripped. Dwayne Lambert-Cador now. The other way. Quick shot from DLC, and that one just not meant to be. In and out. 5 minutes left in the first half.
Niagara just it looked like they were trying to slow it down, but then as he crossed the timeline, the pace picked up.
3 ball, courtesy of Marquise Lara Caston.
Just like that, we're back to a huge lead.
Yeah, 7-point difference right now. Niagara's really been in the driver's seat most of this game, and that's stolen away from Chambers. Turnover for the Humber leads to points the other way. Dwayne Lambert-Cador over to Romeo. Back to DLC at the top. And Dwayne Lambert-Cador working against a big defender in Kenneth Reckley, and somehow kicks it out to Rashawn Chambers, who makes good.
That's huge. Only trailing by 5 now are the Hawks. 2 baskets, and they're all knotted up here.
Stolen away by Chambers. DLC working on the outside right now. He's calling for a pick. Penetrating inside. He's taken down. No foul called. Kyle Brown-Fazekas, another 3 ball, this time off the mark. Gets his own rebound, works his way inside, kicks it out to Waith with the 3. Big rebound. And the Knights able to retain possession. Humber thinks that might have been out of bounds on the baseline.
You can hear the benches and the coaches just all simultaneously saying, whoa, whoa.
They're all smiling now, so it might be some theatrics. And other way, a 3 ball for the Knights.
34-24, 10-point lead for the Niagara Knights. It's been just a different kind of second half by the Hawks. Haven't been able to really cut into that deficit. I believe the closest they got was 4, but it's really just been Knights dominating all the way through.
And now a couple substitutions coming into the game, and keep an eye on number 5 for Niagara, Ethan Alino de la Cruz. He came in, big impact, 7 points in that first quarter. Coach Omar Miles will have to devise up a plan to contain some of that scoring from Niagara, some of that coming off the bench.
It's just the defense that needs to kind of step up a little bit more. They were
and foul called there, and just checking into the game was Mark Taylor, and looks like he's guilty of a bit of holding. So we'll have shots coming up here. We're in bonus territory, Zach.
First shot good, and that's a big point there for the Hawks. Cut it back down to a single-point lead. You still have 2 minutes and 50 seconds to work with to try to get some more momentum in your favor for the second half. And 2 big free throws connected right there.
Yeah, those late scoring drives can really help build some momentum as you head into halftime. We saw that in the women's game with a big buzzer-beating full court shot nearly. And there's heading inside. He just picked up a foul, but making up for it, Mark Taylor with the penetration and the score.
Just seemed like nobody was able to pick him up on the interior right there.
Ooh, very similar looking play the other way, this time off the hands of Kyle Brown-Fazekas.
That was a nifty little play to go all the way back.
Nice touch.
Peering over at the Hawks bench, Dwayne Lambricador, he was trying to fire up his squad, just going. He was walking down the bench saying, come on, come on. Trying to get his team up and going.
He's chalking up right now as Humber is leading their offensive charge. They're still down by 10, a double-digit deficit. And Niagara likes that call. Charge. And that'll turn the ball over. Another empty-handed offensive possession for Humber. And so off the bench, we've seen yet another basket from Ethan Alino de la Cruz. He's about to inbound the ball. There it is in Ethan's hands.
He's been a difference maker for his squad off the bench. Whenever you have that sixth man you can kind of call off the bench and you can rely on, that's huge when it comes to down the stretch. And early in the game, he's been the difference maker.
And yet another bucket. Give him the ball. He's having that kind of night, it seems like. A game-high 11 points.
Got to keep feeding that hot hand.
Waith kicks it out to David. Long stretch pass to DLC. He's back in the game. And that shot just going to catch the far side of the rim and bounce out. And Ethan's leading the charge now for Niagara. Being guarded by Cameron David. And he kicks it over to Reggie Williams, who puts up a long ball. And Humber is going to mishandle it and give it right back to Niagara.
And Raheem Dennis checking into the game.
So the Knights are in good spirits heading into their huddle off this timeout. Zach, the lead for Niagara now 12 as we head into what could be one of the last timeouts of the first half.
We see Humber start mounting these mini comebacks, but then Niagara just, it's like they snooze off for a couple seconds and snap right back into it. Because Humber goes on these runs, they get within at least 4, sometimes 5, and then Niagara just jumps out the lead once again.
There was that sort of controversial play. You see some of the Knights players are pleading to the referee while the play passes them by. And there is an open look, and that was cash from Kenneth Reckley. So some of the replays we've seen in this first half, and ultimately things have been in the favor of the visiting team. The Knights up by 12. We're about to break the huddle. Not a lot of time to work with, Zach, in this first half, but certainly a good opportunity for Humber to kind of change the story a bit here and get some positive momentum heading into this second half. But as it stands right now, Humber down bad.
There's definitely ways you can get the momentum. We saw it in the women's game, right? Kia Watt hit that half-court shot to end off the first half, and then the women's team took over. You got to have that big impact happen here now for the men's team on the Hawks side. Get some momentum to go your way and come out into that second half hot.
Time ticking down here. And another bucket out of the timeout. 14-point lead. Simon Ricketts-Ewan with the shot. And David off the glass, and that was quite a play. Count it.
Gotta love the hook shot.
30 seconds left in the first half. Ethan kicks it right back, going right back to their bread and butter are the Knights. Very similar looking plays as that hits the top of the net, the shot clock area, and Humber will get the ball.
Great interior defense there by the Hawks. They have a chance to make this a single-digit lead heading into half. They should have, I should say, the last drive here in the first half, but we'll see what happens. Here we go, 20 seconds remaining, Matt.
Cameron David with the rock, shot clock turned off. David charges to the hoop, finds an open Raheem Dennis, who makes his way inside, and that's a nice easy bucket. At least he makes it look easy, Raheem Dennis. And wouldn't you know it, taking that last shot, Ethan Alino de la Cruz, it's off the mark. We'll head into halftime with a double-digit lead, that 10-point lead for Niagara still intact.
And you got the last bucket of the half. Now you got to go look forward. What are you going to change in the second half? How are you going to manage some of these scores on the side of Niagara? These are all questions that hopefully will get answered when we head into the second half, Matt.
I think we will, partner. Stay tuned here on the Hawks Sports Network. We'll have second half action in this OCAA West matchup. Two evenly matched teams. They're right beside each other in the standings. Let's see how things shake out after a quick 14.5-minute break. We'll be right back. And we're back. It's time for the second half action. Zach, the Hawks enter with a 10-point deficit. And now it's first possession of the game for, first possession of the half for Humber comes up empty-handed.
Yeah, it was Rashad Chambers going up for the basket, and really the message I hope that got across for the Humber Hawks during that break was play aggressive, continue to try to push that pace in the sense of strong defense and good fast break opportunities.
And this little spin cycle being put on by Delroy Grandison. Number 33 for the Knights is their leading scorer, but not able to facilitate any offense that time. So both teams come up snake eyes on their first possession of the half. And down low, just turned right over as Raheem Dennis is swarmed by defenders. And the Hawks will need to really make good on their offensive trips down the floor because it just has been a low-scoring kind of night. Very rare to see Humber limited to just 8 points in the first quarter, Zach. We were really remarking just how unusual that is. Single digits for the Hawks in the first quarter. They were down by 12. And they were down by 10 after 2 quarters. So let's see how the Hawks regroup. Still scoreless here. Not a whole lot of time left on the shot clock for the Knights. And there is a foul, and that will not be a shooting foul, but the Hawks pick up their first of the half nonetheless.
You guys see in disbelief right there. It's Raheem Dennis, hands on the head. Not sure what the foul was for, but I believe it was called on Harwood. And it'll be Niagara Knights ball on the baseline for the Hawks. Still down 10.
And there's
make that 12.
Yeah, first bucket of the half, and now, yeah, like that, just extending that Knights lead. DLC leading the charge, passes it off to Dennis. Rashawn Chambers, who finds DLC back up top, and that 3-ball is good from the team captain, as it were, the veteran fifth-year player, Dwayne Lambert-Cador. Man, they also call Lambo. Luxury. Now let's see how the Knights respond. Down low, shot from Kenneth Reckley off the mark.
And that's huge, rebounded by the Hawks, and they're on the attack the other way. Try to get something cooking here.
Nifty pass from DLC, and another 3. And handshakes exchange between Raheem Dennis and Dwayne Lambert-Cador. Dennis with a big shot from downtown.
So the Hawks sitting 6 points down. Right there, completely cut the deficit in half, and they just got to continue this defensive prowess.
Yeah, 2 big threes, and at the other end of the court, the big fella, 6'4", Delroy Grandison. He is denied despite working hard down low. Romeo Osas Joshua. We've seen back-to-back threes for Humber. Another ball from downtown. Off the mark from Dennis. Knights quickly in transition. That leads to an open 3, and Reggie Williams. Good touch there as the lead grows back to 9.
Got to try to shut down Niagara. That's the foul. Drawing the foul was DLC.
So for Humber, we're looking at a team that's on their home court tonight and has been trailing for the majority of this game. the large majority of this game. And Zach, we can chalk it up to offensive woes, but in the defensive end, certainly some things to clean up as well, as Niagara has been able to assert themselves. That's 47 points. That's good enough for a 9-point lead.
This is very similar to what we saw in the women's matchup just before. It was Niagara really playing great basketball in the first half, and then it was the short bench, the fatigue kind of catching up to them, and then allowing Humber to just take over in that second half. And again, the same thing here. Niagara has led for the entirety of this game. The largest lead was 14 points, but the Hawks have yet to actually lead in this one. So it'll be important to see here how Humber is able to answer back in the second half, and if they're able to kind of get anything going.
And the free throw is good from DLC. He's got 7 points tonight.
It was so quiet in here, you can hear a pin drop almost.
And now back in the game is Ethan Alino de la Cruz. He led the Knights in scoring in that first half, but Grandison leads the team in scoring on the season, and there's a nice bucket from number 33.
Hawks just need to get at least 1 or 2 possessions where they shut down Niagara on offense to try to cut into this deficit a little bit more. Every time it seems that Humber gets something going, Niagara just answers right on back and is able to capitalize.
Here comes Humber. Still in possession here. Romeo is kind of caught up in Albuquerque, but he finds a way out of trouble. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Deep shot from Romeo Osas Joshua. Rebounded by Dennis. Fresh shot clock for Humber. Dennis with some fancy moves. Hits the hardwood and not able to convert.
I was looking for a call, just couldn't get one. And Humber coming up big on defense right there, and this is a good drive. Try to get some points out of this.
DLC with the charge. Pull-up shot. Just off. Still that 9-point lead for the Knights. The visiting team has been in command for the Lions' share of this game tonight. Another quick shot from Grandison. No good. So for Niagara's leading scorer on the season, Delroy Grandison, he's only got 6 points tonight, so the Hawks have done a good job at limiting him. And Humber's got a pretty dandy number 6 player of their own, and Raheem Dennis.
Big basket right there from a vet on this team. Dennis was with the squad last year, coming through big when needed.
And out of bounds, Knights ball.
And 2 players will come on the court, or 3, excuse me, as Kyle Brown Fizika stands up as well.
So a mass substitution for Humber.
Down 6.
They've still got 6 players out there, and Dennis realizes he's got to check out.
Little confusion. It's all good, you know.
Keep me in,
mistakes
coach.
happen. And I think there's confusion on the other side. There was only 4 players on the side of Niagara. So one Hawk might have had to dress up in blues for a couple plays.
That was Kenan Lermond who erroneously ran off the court. Quick opportunity. The pass from Ethan Alino de la Cruz. Cash. Reggie Williams, big 3-pointer.
It just seems whenever Humber gets something going,
yeah, you're right,
Niagara just has the dagger to answer back.
That's a good point. Now Humber, can they get a sustained momentum swing here? Because it's really this back and forth play is really working in the Knights' favor. Slowing things down here. Another deep 3 ball from Reggie Williams and another make. This could be dangerous for Humber as Williams now with 12 points tonight.
And you can hear beside us the women's team for Niagara just starting to wake on up, getting loud for their squad. Continued defensive stops.
Yeah, jump ball. So great job by Niagara defensively that time. So this is concerning if you're the Humber Hawks, as you're seeing a Knights team that's not slowing down offensively and playing some pretty tough D as well on the other end.
They haven't been able to generate anything, and it just seems once the Knights go on a roll that the Hawks can't shut them down. But once the Hawks go on a roll, Niagara shuts it down almost immediately. So something has to change here. Somebody on the Hawks has to step up and be the leader to mount this comeback.
Humber back down by 12. There's an offensive drive. Rebounded nicely by Nathan Waite. And DLC is feeling the pressure. Is going to slow things down here on the perimeter. Being guarded by Mark Taylor. Taylor spins away and rebounded very nicely down low, but stolen right back away from Rashawn Chambers. And this guy's had a big night. Ethan Alino de la Cruz being guarded by Kyle Brown-Fazikis. And Alino de la Cruz draws the foul. The great night from number 5 in blue continues. And there's a look at Humber's head coach, Kyle Brown-Fazikis, trying to crack the code here. It's been a tough go here tonight.
Nobody's been able to figure out how to shut down Niagara. It just seems whatever Humber does, Niagara just answers on right back with something different.
Humber's fans making some noise here, maybe helping out, getting in the head of the free throw shooting. And 1 for 2 from the free throw line for Ethan on that trip. Dwayne Lambercador, nice bounce pass, finds an open Nathan Waite. No good.
Just tough breaks for the Hawks. They just can't seem to get that 3-ball going. I believe they're shooting pretty low percentages so far from beyond the arc. Coming into the quarter, they were shooting 50%, but this quarter alone just kind of seems like maybe they're trailing under that now.
Good defensive stand for the Hawks. Under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Humber has not seen things change, although Kyle Brown-Fazikis has been a bright spot. Another good bucket from number 3.
They're not going to give up and fight. Humber continually is going to try to stay in this game as long as they can.
3 ball, that one's off the mark, and some great rebounding by Niagara. At least good effort there, but does go out of bounds. Humber ball.
And a timeout called right there by the Niagara Knights, so maybe a strategy to try to shut down any momentum that Humber was building.
And that's the thing, there hasn't been a lot in the way of momentum to feed off of for Humber. There's been a couple big three-pointers. That's given the team a bit of the juice. However, it's immediately extinguished by Niagara. We've seen that time and time again. Taking a look at some of our HSN replays here. That was that nifty pass from DLC. Dennis hit that big three-pointer. Another chance there in tight as we saw that jump ball play a bit earlier on. So it's just been an uphill battle for Humber. We're playing some classic rock and roll in the Hawks Nest right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of just enjoying the music right now. I don't mean to leave you hanging there with the commentary there, partner. I'm just, the music got into my head and there's just bobbing the head.
Classic sports tune. Now, of course, when you talk about Queen, the bigger sports song would be We Are the Champions.
Oh, very much so,
right?
yeah.
You only hear that once a year, though.
Well, I don't know why it came into mind, Bohemian Rhapsody is the
Hey, that always gets the crowd into it.
You said you're like the one song. I'm like, Bohemian Rhapsody?
Another one bites the dust?
Another one, I'm like, I just don't know. Too many classics to name.
Humber with possession. Just over 2 minutes to go in the quarter. DLC hands it off, but a travel will shut down the play, and Humber's head coach incensed. And Niagara's coach a bit more cool as he's got to like the position his team is in and the position they've been in really throughout this whole game. And up big right now, 11-point lead, and they'll try to make it even more.
It was a hot start by Niagara, and then really Humber just hasn't been able to catch up with them. They've matched them in a sense ever since, but Niagara has just been one step ahead because of that hot start.
A corner three And that is a backbreaker for a Humber team who already is trailing big. Hawks need a colossal momentum swing, and that's a good way to get things started. A sure-handed 2-point play from Jamani Barrett.
I believe they counted that one as a 2-pointer. 58-47 right now.
On the other end for Niagara? Yeah. No, it's the Knights back on the offensive. There's a corner three. That one is a bit long. Rebound for Humber. Charging back. Trying to build something here. Kick ball. Humber will hang on to it with 17 seconds on the shot clock. One of the last possessions of the quarter.
We talked about the women's game going by quick. We're already almost on the third quarter here of the men's.
Time flies when you're having fun. Also, having fun isn't hard when you have a library card. I learned that from Arthur. Great.
Having fun is I learned it from watching a gaming YouTube channel that I liked. So some guy said it, and I'm assuming he took it from Arthur.
And underneath the net, trying to do it all by himself is Jamani Barrett. Didn't have much help from his teammates on that try, and comes up empty. Stolen away by the Hawks. DLC charging in off the glass and hung up on the rim for what seemed like a couple Mississippi. Another steal from Humber. Now this is the kind of swing the Hawks are looking for. As Dennis puts it in. Whistle blown, Zach. What do we got?
Looks like the clock malfunction.
It's gone topsy-turvy. Okay, we're back.
So the question is, will they count that bucket or not?
Now that could work out to the advantage of Niagara. There's a look. We're back to a fully functioning play clock, but it was a little kind of hung a left in Albuquerque there for a second.
Yeah, like I said, it's
shot clocks are up there. They're back.
It comes down, do they allow the basket to go in? I believe that they did, so Humber still trailing this one by 11.
And that's tough for all those plays to go in Humber's favor, and still trailing by 11. Tough spot. Another steal for Humber. Goodness gracious. A great end to the third, but the defense from the Knights will shut that play down. Nothing to show for a third steal. Big block for the Hawks. Boy, this game is just at a frantic pace right now. Kyle Brown-Fazikis has got 4 Knights defenders. And Cameron David will slow the play down. Zach, all heck is breaking loose right now.
That was a pretty chaotic 20 seconds, to say the least. I mean, going both ways. Our scores table is just kind of getting the confirmation from the referees right now, but 7.6 left here in the third. Humber trailing 58-51.
Manageable deficit for Humber right now. Let's see if they can keep it a 7-point hole, as Niagara will likely have the last possession of the quarter.
All depends on what happens here on this drive. Can Humber hold off Niagara?
Grandison, 3-ball. No good, and that will do it for quarter number 3 as we head into the final intermission of regulation. Humber Hawks trail by 7 points. Zach, this has been a real ball game we've had on our hands here, and it's looking like, will it be a lot of the same here in quarter number 4? Is Niagara just going to keep kind of snuffing out the flame, any momentum the Humber tries to generate? Or do we finally see the Hawks overcome and prevail, string together a good sequence of play? I'll tell you what, things are looking pretty good for the Hawks at the end of the third.
For sure, they look like a kind of a revitalized team, and it's been the story of their season. You know, the start off was very, very slow. They didn't have their footing. A lot of new players in the OCAA. As the season progressed, they got better, and they're at their point where they are today because of how much they've learned over the course of this season. And it's in this game as well. They're learning the play style of Niagara. Maybe you can throw something different at them right now that Niagara can't counteract.
But I mean, earlier in the season, it was Humber who was victorious. They went over to Niagara at that Welland campus. They beat the Knights 80-73. And in that game, we were Really, it was earlier in the season, so again, we mentioned in the standings, these two teams very evenly matched. Here's a look at some of those highlights. Zach, you're looking at the stats. What's jumping out at you?
Jumping out is the fact that Niagara is 8 from 17 from beyond the arc, shooting at 47%, while Humber 5 for 13, shooting at 38. So it's very, very difficult to mount any kind of comeback when you sink a three and Niagara's coming right back at you with a three-pointer of their own. So you got to try to shut them down on defense. It's the biggest thing right now, and I believe turnovers are, if not equal, yeah, they are. So 10 for the side of Humber and 9 for the side of Niagara. Everything else, it's basically been an even game to say the least. It's just been really that Niagara got that early jump and they haven't given it up.
And coming off the bench for Humber, Kyle Brown-Fazekas, 11 points here, Zach. But we talked about, we've been highlighting all game, a big impact player has been Niagara's number 5, Ethan Alino de la Cruz, 12 points. That's second best in this ball game.
Yeah, whenever you can have a player come off the bench and give you 12 points, that's all you can ask for as a head coach, really. Having somebody that just generates that much offense for your squad.
Humber starting off the fourth with the rock. And David loses the handle, and Humber will hang on to it. So 10 seconds to work with. Certainly not a huge hurry. As David inbounds it over to Kyle Brown-Fazekas. Mentioned he has been on the score sheet a few times, Kyle Brown-Fazekas. And there's a chance, but Humber is going to let this one slip away as their first offensive drive of the fourth quarter comes up 0. And a corner three, and that rims out. That would have been a tough pill to swallow had that one dropped. And getting ready to come in for Humber is Romeo Osas Joshua, but that's going to be a turnover as the foul's called on Rashawn Chambers. So Zach,
yeah, I'm just kind of trying to see what's going on with the coach right now. Looks like
Niagara's head coach seems unusually upset over a call that went in his favor.
No, I believe it has something to do with the fan on the sidelines. That's kind of keeping going back and forth.
All right, Zach, we're almost ready to get going here. Niagara's ball.
Yeah, it seems like the situation's gotten cleared up, so we'll figure it out what's going on now.
And here come the Knights. Can they extend their lead? That's a good-looking fadeaway shot. Rebounded by Dennis. Cameron David looking for a lane over to DLC. On the baseline, good looking pass from Dennis to Chambers, and that's going to cut into this lead. Humber now trails by 5.
It's a big play right there, cutting that lead down. 2-basket game we have on our hands right now. A 3 and a 2 tie it. Humber just gritting this one out, trying to grit out this fourth quarter. And looks like we'll be going to the line for 2 shots. It's Reggie Williams.
Williams has been another impact player. Couple of big three-pointers for number 20 in blue. He came into this fourth quarter with 13 points. That's a game high. So he has really been leading the way for this Niagara team on the road here. Free throw coming up. Hawks fans making some noise, certainly seeing this home court crowd coming alive. Their team needs the help.
They brought out the buckets, the spoons, the wooden sticks, whatever you can. Just make some noise on the sidelines.
And the second free throw, no good. And just an epic battle for that rebound, won by Niagara, but handed right back to the home team.
It was the battle of the grip strength right there.
Slow motion, but Cameron David right in the mix. Now he's on the offensive end, but too strong. Rebounded by Humber. And a call against the Hawks. It's going to be interesting to hear the reasoning. Rashawn Chambers gets called for the push on the rebound, but
I was going to say it's either for a push or it's because of the over the back. I don't know, but call on Rashawn Chambers. So here we go once again. Hawks trailing by 5. Hawks Nest is getting electrified. See if they can come up with another big stop right here.
Again, this is a big matchup here. These two teams are neck and neck in the OCAA West standings. Humber sits in 4th place. Niagara sits in 5th. Second chance opportunity. Another chance for Delroy Grandison. Off the mark. In the hands of David. Good pressure here. Hawks getting it over. David plants his feet, kicks it out to Dennis.
Goes around the rim.
It's a good looking 3, but just didn't quite have the finish.
If Humber's able to take this victory, they'll go into a tie for 3rd place in the division with Sheridan College, barring of a Sheridan win tonight. Obviously, if they're playing, we don't have their schedule up.
Big block. How do you like that from Chambers? Goodness. Now other way we go, and Dennis is fouled. So we almost had 2 big defensive plays.
Would that be classified as a mega block?
That's a mega block. Can we get a HSN replay of the
of the mega block?
But I'll tell you what, the other end in transition, good job by Humber. And Niagara was looking for a mega block of their own, but what they got was a foul and 2 shots coming up from Raheem Dennis. So Rashawn Chambers with a huge block on the other end. Dennis a bit too strong. And good, 1 for 2. We even have some barking noise coming from the crowd. Niagara's down, leading by 4. Humber needs things to turn around here.
You know,
Zach, you got a real kick out of that barking noise.
In the 2 years that I've been broadcasting here in the Hawks Nest, I don't think I've heard anybody bark. That is by far the first thing. That's the first time I've ever heard that. That was great.
I heard a meow, but I've never heard a bark.
You heard a meow.
And another call going in favor of the Hawks here. You know, Zach, a lot going on in this Hawks Nest right now. But I'll tell you what, we got a barn burner of a game. 6.5 left in the first quarter.
4-point lead. We've seen it all. We've heard it all here in the Hawks Nest tonight. That's for sure, Matt.
David making his way in, finds a wide open DLC. Great move to make some space, but too strong on the 3. Rebounded by Humber. Good pass by DLC. Humber wanted a call. They're going to get a jump ball.
It'll be blue ball, so Niagara will get that one. Kind of see Raheem Dennis. He went up. There was a lot of contact. Didn't get the call. I mean, back and forth we go. These two teams really gritting this one out. Humber riding a 2-game win streak. Looking to extend it to 3.
2 games, trying to make it 3, but they have been down for pretty much this entire game. But can Humber roar back when they need it the most late in the game? We've been at a 4-point difference for quite some time now. Let's see if Romeo can move the needle. That shot off the front rim, rebounded by Chambers. He just had that big block. And we're trying to get it to finish. Romeo Osas Joshua takes care of business for Humber.
Not the tallest guy on the floor, 5'11". And he goes up there with all the big men down low to try to get it, and he's the one that puts it back. Big play out of number 4 for the Hawks.
Reggie Williams, off-kilter shot, rebounded by David. Humber could take the lead with a 3-ball here. They're going inside. Romeo unable to make it.
You can kind of hear on the sidelines here a player that's getting ready to check in, and Caden Stewart, he's saying slow down. But the Hawks, this is what they want to do. They're revving up the pace. They're trying to be the dictators of how this quarter finishes. 2-point game right here.
Raheem Dennis guarded tightly. Slowing things down. Quarterbacking the play is Dwayne Lambert-Cador. DLC tucks his head down and charges in. Chambers trying to finish. He will do it. We are all tied up, and a timeout called by Niagara. Great OCAA basketball right in front of us, folks.
What seemed like a huge mountain to climb has finally been conquered. Humber has tied it all up. We got some 50 Cent playing right now. It's a good time here in the Hawks' nest.
Now I'm wondering, where is Howie Hawk?
Where is Howie Hawk? That's
Howie Hawk, the Humber
question.
Hawks mascot, all new year long. And there's that block from Chambers. File that down as a mega block.
Capital M beside Chambers is named for mega. And look at this, the never give up attitude. We love to see it. Get up there. Romeo Osas Joshua.
Things have certainly tilted in favor of Humber. Taking care of business. There's that second chance finish we just saw, and that led to a timeout from the Knights. Zach, there's a look at our crowd. It's bumping. I'll tell you what, though, it's going to be even more lit in the Hawks' Nest February 16th, the rivalry game against Sheridan. But right now, Humber has their sights set on the Knights. They have 5 games, the Hawks do, in the month of February. This, obviously, the first day of February, kicking it off. And this all leads up to the OCAA Championships at St. Clair College in Windsor, starting March 3rd. Can both these teams lock in their place with some wins in February? Let's see how they start off the month.
Here we go. Out of the timeout, can Humber get a huge stop on defense?
Looks like they're going to cook up exactly that. Stretch pass from David. That's a strong part of his game. Humber has the lead off the DLC bucket.
For the first time all night, Humber is up. They've gritted this one out. Now it's time to see how they close it out here in the Hawks' Nest.
Cameron David is just really an excellent passer. He facilitated that go-ahead bucket, but here come the Knights. They've tied it right back up. David with the ball. He finds Dennis, who charges back in, and the big fella, Jamani Barrett, inside. He'll shoot 2. All knotted up at 60. What more could you ask for, partner? Great basketball.
And a barn burner going down to the wire. I mean, not much more you can ask for.
Jamani Barrett all by himself down there, looking a little lonely. Doesn't faze him. Hits the first free throw.
I gotta say, some of the noises coming from beside us, quite interesting.
What did you pick up this time from the Niagara
I
women's
honestly don't know if I
team?
can repeat it. I don't know if I have the high pitch to repeat it. I'm gonna be honest with you there, buddy.
It's best to leave some stones unturned. There's the
barking.
Barking
Barking
again.
has come back.
And no good on that free throw. So Humber 61-60, a 1-point lead. Can the Hawks continue to pour it on late in the game? They've climbed out of that deficit. Can they establish a lead? It's a pretty slim one right now. Lots of noise here at the Hawks' Nest. Fans really getting into it on this defensive stand. And the shot clock rings out. Humber disorienting their opponents.
And look how fired up Omar Miles just got. He just kind of ran down the side screaming, yeah. He knows how much this game means to his squad. he just wants to see his team play well and just learn and get better, and that's exactly what they're doing. They have learned, and they've finally figured out a way to shut down Niagara and get – it's all about mind games there, Matt.
What a big win this would be for his team going forward if they could climb out of this hole. The putback attempt, so close for Jamani Barrett. That would have burned this place down. I think that would have just set this place off.
Oh, man, that was – last year's team had a guy named Frank Mitchell who did that so many times and just lit this place on fire. Jamani Barrett almost had his chance to do it right there.
You really feel the intensity in this gym. 3-ball off the mark from the night's leading scorer, Delroy Grandison. He's been a little bit cool in the fourth quarter. And no call. Humber will get possession. Timeout called by Humber. 2.5 minutes nearly left in this game. And Humber with a very, very modest lead.
It's 2.5 minutes, but I have a feeling it's going to feel like 30 because this one is going down to the wire, partner. The 1-point lead for the Humber Hawks, and I mean, they have played their heart and soul tonight, really just leaving it all on the court. And I mean, this is the atmosphere that if you're a Hawks fan, you've missed seeing this for a while. Can't wait to see how it ends. It's going to be a good one. I'm nearly speechless.
Yeah, I mean, appreciate you watching here on the Hawks Sports Network, but if you get the chance, come out to one of these Humber Hawks home games. Basketball in particular always brings out a great crowd.
16th.
And circle February 16th on your calendar. 2 days after Valentine's Day. What's the significance of that? No, Zach, it's the final home game of the season. Humber welcomes their rival, the Sheridan Bruins, who right now, Sheridan on the season, have a record of 9-5. They are one spot above Humber in the provincial rankings. Humber is ranked 8th in the province. Sheridan is 7th. So that game on the 16th, we'll know this place is going to be packed out. The atmosphere is going to be off the chain. The popcorn is free, which is a nice touch. But we have a great game in front of us right now, so we'll no need to look forward to later in the month. We got a great one happening right in front of us. Humber ball out of this timeout. David with a nice spin move. Passes it to Dennis. Works his way inside and off the glass. Great looking play for Dennis out of the timeout.
Huge play. 3-point lead now for the Hawks, and this time that they just grit down, the defense comes out stronger. It's said in every sport, defense wins championships, and it comes through big right there.
Dennis is fouled, and he's frustrated as he appears to have taken some kind of contact.
Looks like he caught something up high, either in the nose or the right eye.
So a good call, obviously, by the officials.
It looked like me yesterday when I was bowling, and I couldn't hit a strike.
Oh, you know my stance on bowling, partner. I am a granny
shot all the
bowler.
way. I
yes,
got you.
Gotta save the ligaments.
I'm gonna change you one day. We're gonna go over to the Planet Bowl that's just down the street here. I'm gonna teach you how to throw one-handed.
First free throw coming up from Raheem Dennis. There's the barking from the crowd, and maybe it got into his head. Misses number one.
If it works, it works.
Can Humber make their second free throw and make it a 2-possession game? Big free throw on the hands of Raheem Dennis. He'll do it. Home crowd fans love to see that. Let's go. Niagara now transitioning. They need a bucket here. Their leading scorer, Delroy Grandison. Offensive woes continue, but right there to pick up the slack, Ethan Alina Dela Cruz with his 14th point of the game. And Kyle Brown-Fazikis on the baseline is out of bounds. So a quick play for Humber, a quick possession is handed right back.
Going back and forth right now.
Looks like checking into the game is Rashawn Chambers, and Jamani Barrett will step out momentarily.
Electrifying atmosphere here in the Hawks' Nest. With 1:23 left, Humber up by 2.
Can the Hawks get a big stand in their own end here? And there's a nice play cutting inside, and that's what we've seen out of Delroy Grandison all season long. He leads his team in scoring for a reason. Humber looking to come back the other way. Whose ball is it going to be? Officials say Humber. So that's a good break for the Hawks. All tied up at 64, just over a minute left. Plenty of time on the shot clock, 17 seconds. Chambers with the rock up top. Over to Cameron David. David's been coming on very strong in this fourth quarter. He is dealing with some contact, and the Hawks turn it over. Niagara fans love the call, and this is big. Tied up at 64.
52 left.
Under a minute to go. Big game here in the OCAA West. Niagara looking for revenge. They lost the matchup earlier this season on their home court to Humber. Trying to give Humber a taste of their own medicine. Big possession. We just saw a bucket from Grandison. Once again, he finds number 5, Ethan Alino de la Cruz, who appears to be shaken up on the play. He's lying flat on his back. And wow, that was just what we saw in the previous possession. It was the ball in the hands of Delroy Grandison finding his teammate Ethan Alino de la Cruz. And we'll cut away from the injured player and see how Humber's bench is reacting.
Yeah, we'll let him to get checked out there by the trainer staff, and you can see on the screen the head coach of the Humber Hawks just trying to discuss what's going on. Niagara up by 2 here, so this could be a big stand for them if they can stop the Hawks.
No kidding, partner. I mean, we're all tied up at 64s, but that bucket there is huge because this puts a lot of pressure on the Humber Hawks now. Good to see Ethan on his feet.
Gives the thumbs up to his coach right there.
And it looks like he's going to stay in the game as well. Now Ethan will actually be checking out, so that could be a big loss. But I'll tell you what, he's done his part.
Yeah, really just.
So a long break here, and whose favor is this going to work in? Things have really settled down. The crowd is not quite as active. Humber's ball.
31.8 seconds left in this game. Humber down by 2. Question I got, can they ice up when it matters? In the dying minutes, let's see what happens here, Matt.
Raheem Dennis stretch pass to Kyle Brown-Fazikis. Humber could tie it up with 2. DLC hands it off to Cameron David. David drives to the hoop, and he finds nothing but Niagara defenders. Oh my goodness. An ill-advised pass, and just good defense, active hands by Niagara. And the foul is called. We're not in the bonus territory yet, partners, so that will be Niagara ball, but you got to think we're going to see a foul from Humber here.
Timeout first called by Niagara, and obviously it's just a tough break right there for the Hawks. Cameron Davis tried to just drive to the net. No call was made, and Niagara was able just to capture that one. Absolute barn burner indeed. Really down to the wire, 66-64 is the score.
And for the Humber Hawks, 8-5 on the season. Really hoping to string together wins in February here, because already picking up 5 wins at this point in the season. Pardon me, 5 losses. Again, not something we're accustomed to seeing from the reigning national champions.
And the big statistic, they've won 19 of their last 20 home games. They've been red hot here at the Hawks Nest, and it's really all thanks to their crowd. The home crowd is such an important factor And let's see what happens. It's like I said at the start, Matt. It ain't over till it's over. Let's see how this one ends. We have 13.6 left on the clock.
Living on a prayer, the Humber Hawks, 13 seconds to go.
Living on a prayer, and they're halfway there.
And inbounded, a big collision that goes against the Humber Hawks. So 2 shots coming up. And in disbelief there, you see
Raheem Dennis in disbelief, couldn't. I mean, we weren't focusing there. We were focusing on the inbound. But the refs are going to talk. And this could be a really big play in this closing minutes, or closing seconds, I should say.
66 to 64, so it is Dennis charged with the foul. And that's his 3rd foul, but so we'll have Grandison shooting the free throws. Now the Niagara coaching staff is pleading their case. They're saying, hey, the ball wasn't inbounded yet. So we'll see how this all shakes out, partner, but it's not looking good for Humber. Living on a prayer indeed. And we'll have a timeout from the Humber Hawks. Now, it was a game that we've seen, for the most part, Humber was trailing, and at times trailing big. 10-point deficits, 12-point deficits, 14 they were down by at one point. But fighting back, just a very strong 4th quarter. A couple of guys coming in big late in the game for the Hawks, but ultimately some critical misplays in the last minute or two.
You got to think, you know, if the Hawks were able to figure out Niagara just a little bit sooner, could they have had a chance? You know, could this lead be a little bit different than what it is right now if Humber, you know, started this rally back, let's say halfway through the 3rd quarter instead of, you know, at the start of the 4th? Anything can happen. There's still time left on the clock. 12 seconds to be exact. Humber down by 2. So 2 big free throws coming up right here to see what happens. You got the Undertaker's theme song, the gong, echoing out through the gym here at the North Campus.
Grandison, 2 shots coming up right now.
And the noise, it's getting loud. Delroy Grandison.
And that's his 11th point of the night. So another make here would make it a 2-possession game. Big rebound and big free throw coming up. He misses, and it's taken away by Kyle Brown-Fazekas. Hawks with a chance here. They need a 3-pointer. Can they find one? Kyle Brown-Fazekas, 4 seconds on the clock. Dwayne Lambert-Cador up the front of the rim, rebounded by Niagara, and that will seal the deal. The Knights come into the Hawks' nest and pick up a hard-fought win. They were really in the driver's seat for most of this game, and they really turned it on when it mattered most, which ended up being that last minute of play, Zach.
Yeah, and you got to give credit to where it's due. Coming off the bench, number 5, Ethan Dela Cruz. He was the one that got the winning basket for his squad, and he provided the spark today, Matt, and I'm just great basketball all around. Crazy,
no doubt about that.
Crazy way to end that one.
But it was indeed a great basketball game, not the way Humber was hoping it would shake out, but I think the fans that came out here for the admission price of free got their money's worth. And that's our final. Signing off from the Hawk Sports Network. Great to have you with us every time here on HSN. Good night.